hello. I'm going to lower the Elgato down just a little bit.
Yeah.
That's my cue to
Adios.
That's my cue to leave.
Alright.
We have returned.
Yeah.
I'm actually here. I'm actually here.
So, hi guys, welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney 2. I'm just gonna be real. I was like, no matter who was gonna be available, I was just gonna do stream tonight because we need to get a move on at this point.
Alright, so can I just explain my side of the story?
Yeah, go on ahead.
I got a new position at my job. Which the new hours that I'm working are pretty much full-time hours.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I wasn't used to. So for 2 weeks, having to get up slightly earlier for like 5 to 6 days in a row, I was pretty much really tired when I got home and didn't really want to do anything.
Yeah.
So whenever Patrick would be like, "All right, so it's not for DGS," I just go, "Oh yeah, that's right." I just didn't have the energy.
Fair.
to be like, I don't have time to sit in front of a screen and read like 2 to 3 hours. Cause when it is over, I'm depending on my work schedule, I had to immediately go to bed to get up the next day.
Yeah. So just to explain.
Fortunately, this is not one of those days.
Yeah. So. We're hopefully going to be back on schedule now for DGS2. So last time, Susato defended Remember Me, and now we are getting a flashback to apparently a trial Holmes does not want us to talk about kind of deal, so...
Okay, real quick, because I wasn't there for it, what did you think of the first trial of this game?
I still think it's a really solid trial. Not as good as the first DGS's, but still better than a lot of case ones in this series kind of deal.
Because of the situation of this case, I definitely put it as one of the most unique cases of Ace Attorney.
Yeah.
Like, just because you're not playing as the main character, you play as the assistant.
Yeah. Alright, well, let's head on in. Yeah.
Woo! Wait, that's new. I've never seen this menu before.
That's if you do the select adventure one instead.
You can continue
choose,
to your save file, but yeah.
So you can do wherever you want.
It was a ghastly tale of a winter's night. One of an invisible killer and a crime perpetrated on the pavement along Briar Road.
Oh, Briar Road again, god damn it!
The victim lay at death's door. The mystery of just who had stabbed the other.
Yeah, you actually got a hint about this case in the first game.
Oh yeah, that's right, yeah.
No sooner had my friend
it was something that me and Sophie didn't want you to miss.
Oh, it's these two assholes! That's what it was,
yeah, we
okay.
specifically told you to go back there to get that. And when you asked for that me, we was like, don't worry. It was like wait for the next game.
It's like when you like, wait, why did Saseki say 2? Don't worry about it.
All the sensational headlines of the day. Haunted apartment of death. The condemned criminal's curse. The dread demon of coal gas.
Also, can I just say, I like how even when translated, I still can't read the text.
Yeah.
It's too English.
It only proved to be the overture.
Reminds me of like the DMC text when it DMC 1's text. It's just like, I don't know what the hell font they chose for that, but it's so illegible. Alright, now for the first time properly in this game. My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I'm a fleeting attorney and just starting out on my journey. 6 months ago, I arrived in visiting student of law, having made this long voyage across the sea in the entire Empire of Japan to here, London, England. And on the way, in quite extraordinary circumstances, I made an acquaintance of a world-famous detective. Currently, I reside in the attic of the detective's own lodgings, where I run my legal consultancy of sorts. I successfully defended a number of clients in Britain's highest court, the Old Bailey, all of 2.
I'm going to say.
Yeah.
But since a particularly grueling and unforgettable legal battle 4 months ago now. I haven't returned to the courtroom. In truth, I've lost my right to return. But that epic trial is just one part of an epic tale. A tale of was now about to awaken from slumber. Thanks to the letter arrived this morning from my homeland.
Alright, well, let's
Ryu, your desk.
Two is a number that is higher than 0.
What delicious smell wafting through the stairs. Must be nearly time for breakfast. Better go down to Mr. Shulm's suite. Say good morning to the great detective and his flatmate. They won't let me look. I need to see the shovel.
Shovel.
Okay, so, just for timeline-wise, this is in between case 4 and 5 of the original game, or is this after case 5?
Literally the next day after case 4.
Okay, wow.
They're going to explain that.
Alright.
Ah, shit.
Bruno, good. I was just about to cuddle up upon you. The bacon's ready.
Good morning, Iris. Smells delicious as usual. Before we eat, though, I have some news. I had a surprise this morning.
Not another word, Mr. Naruhodo. Yeah, that's right, eat it!
I was gonna say if like you didn't jump on it, it was just like, Jason, you have the floor. Also, why is Holmes studying virtual reality for? I see that VR above his desk right there. You see by his finger?
He was bored.
Yeah, he was bored, so one day he decided I'm just going to make the Oculus ripped.
Wouldn't even be fucking surprised in this universe.
This could be just a
Absentry?
Truce?
Absurdity? Yeah, I think of truce, yeah.
Yeah, this could be just the obtuse thing for my pre-reference stagnation, repelling mental stimulation, my dear fellow.
Morning to you, too, Mr. Shulms.
Ah, yes, I see.
Well, hello there.
Hey. A little bit closer, please. I can't kiss. Why? I can't kiss you from all the way over there.
Lava support.
The truth is as clear to me as day. My facilities or faculties?
Faculty. No, I think that's faculties, yeah.
My faculties of observation have revealed it again.
They are very similar looking words, so I don't blame you. What are you talking about?
You, Mr. Naruhodo, you have, this very morning, met with a surprise! Well, is that not the case? Really, my dear fellow, it barely warrants an explanation. Firstly, your hair is particularly unkempt. Someone reminiscent of a bird's nest. Got him. Secondly, you have neglected to fasten the third button of your jacket. Clearly, when considered together, these two facts point to you having been flustered this morning. Fix your drip, my guy.
Can I talk now?
But of course! Don't look for aberration, you understand.
My hair always looks like this. I've been this way ever since I met you.
Oh, it has?
And the button was ripped off last night, if you remember. By you.
Called your button off?
Ah, yes, I recall the incident now. It was after supper, was it not? As the evening advanced, I picked up my violin and began to play the wailing notes of a haunted tune.
You're also missing your handcuffs to come back up. God damn it!
But then, to my utter dismay, the third switch snapped! Why did it have to happen? Why? Little wonder then that in my vexation, I grabbed the first button I saw and ripped it from its proper place.
Well, I'd like it back now, please. It's troubling me that I can't fasten my jacket.
So I took your button.
So anyway, I just started swinging.
I just started nabbing. It's troubling.
Jason?
Uh-oh.
Wait, did you not hear me?
Yeah, you completely cut out there.
Oh, wait, hey, you know what? Yo, wait, hang on. It is off, okay. It's troubling me that you expect me to know where it is. Somewhere thereabouts on the floor, one presumes.
Helpful.
What matters at the present time, my dear fellow, is simply whether or not my deduction was unerring.
Harley, Rudolph said it came in, didn't he? It had a surprise this morning.
Well, that really is a surprise.
Yes, this man is the pride of the British Empire, the famous consulting detective. Mr. Sherlock Holmes. There can't be a single person in the world who doesn't know his name. His new copyright-free name at this point.
I done this silly conversation. Come and eat this bacon before it goes cold. And I have a new herbal tea for you to try. My latest special blend.
And here we have Iris Wilson, Mr. Sheldon's lodger and companion.
Here we have a child.
A truly exceptional young girl who's the author of a highly successful serialization here in London. Yes, The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, as published in the Raditz magazine.
So, Mr. Naruhodo, won't you put us out of our misery? What surprised you this fine morning?
Well, I received a letter from Japan.
Oh, do you mean? Was it really?
That's right, and she had some rather startling news, in fact.
Ah, intriguing indeed. You must tell us all about it over breakfast!
Yes, what fun.
This is a letter that arrived from Japan this morning, by international post.
Oh, how lovely. Look, it's Susie's beautiful writing. I wish I could read it.
How is your judicial assistant faring, may I ask?
She's very well, thank you. In fact, according to what she's written, she's actually appeared as a lawyer at a Japanese Supreme Court, and what a case! Oh, okay, so this is right after. Alright.
Oh, really? Oh, isn't she wonderful?
Come above your good self, my dear fellow.
I've won cases too, you know.
But you're not Susanoo.
No, I am not. Sad. Apparently, Miss Natsume appeared in court. What?
Sherlock
Says witness. I just rest the controller on my lap for a second, and it's like, nah, you hit the back button. That's what you did.
Natsume. No, I don't recall that name.
Of course you do. We helped that man twice. You know, in those two cases that took place in Briar Road 6 months ago.
Ah, that mustache twitchy man with the somewhat feline eyes and mustache?
He did 2 mustaches, Hurley.
Yes, who could forget those 2 cases? They made a very deep impression on me. Although I must confess the details are a little hazy now.
A very deep impression they made on you. Clearly.
So, what was this startling news penned by Mr. Zato?
Do you remember the case of the haunted lodgings, Mr. Sholmes?
Ah, yes. It's very interesting, you know. I don't feel entirely certain that a case of that nature did not occur.
He's totally forgotten then. Anyway, in her letter, Mr. Sato asked if we could read over the case notes again and investigate further.
So it took place half a year ago? For what purpose?
Because of something that Mr. Natsume said to her, apparently. He suggested that the real reason why she was called back to Japan so suddenly might have something to do with that case of the haunted lodgings.
Oh?
On Mr. Natsume's return to Japan, Miss Susato's father questioned him about the case, she says. And something Mr. Natsume said appeared to trouble Professor Mikotoba, prompting him to send that telegram.
Oh, that case, yes. It was very strange, wasn't it?
Yes.
I had compiled the whole story in a nice neat manuscript ready for publication, too. But then Harley was all funny about it, remember? He was very mean. That story will not be published, you say? Very mysterious as well.
Oh, is this like the Hounds of Baskerville thing? From last time?
Really? I said that? Are you sure? So right now, in the current time, this is after case 5 and also after case 1 of this game.
So this is after case 1 of this game, but we're gonna be jumping back, kind of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you perhaps know something about it as well, Mr. Sholmes? About why Miss Susato was suddenly told 4 months ago that she had to return to Japan?
Now since we waved Susie off to Dover. It was such a shock, wasn't it? The way she just suddenly announced that she had to go back to Japan.
Indeed it was. Due to a telegram she received from a homeland, I believe.
That's right, telling her to return urgently.
Yes, because her father had passed away.
Don't. He was just suffering from a high fever, the cause of which was unknown. He's not dead! But according to this letter, that news about her father's fever was just a ruse.
So Susie's daddy lied to her to make her voyage back home? What? Why would he do that?
I have to admit, I have absolutely no idea. But she believes it's certainly related to the case of the haunted lodgings. Summoning her back to Japan so suddenly like that, I wonder what Miss Susato's father is hiding.
Do you know
Sophie, do you have, like, noise compression on or something like that? You're kind of cutting a little in and out on my... It's it's like you're cutting out, like, the beginning of when you talk, kind of deal. I don't know if that's, like, anything with, like, noise compression or anything like that. Or...
Maybe I should upgrade the output volume?
Yeah, of, like, your input. Let's try that.
Hello?
Yeah, okay, you're coming in fine now, so...
Alright, yeah.
I hope.
Well, who can say?
But you said...
Please, I have engagements, my dear fellow. My calendar is quite surprisingly full today. And a stringent analysis of the matter would be excessive, I feel. Even if I were quite at leisure. So, man the fort in my absence, won't you, Iris?
See you later.
Cheerio.
Scuffled rather quickly there.
There goes Jason.
I think perhaps Professor Mikotoba isn't the only person hiding something here. Soseki-san was involved in 2 cases, but only one of them was forbidden from being published. By, of all people, Mr. Sholmes. Okay,
Sophie?
yeah, so, Sophie, check, do you have noise suppression or, like, the auto-adjust on? For, like, your input volume?
Where can I find that?
Noise compression is right by, like, the bars, by the call.
I have input sensitivity on, I'm not sure if that...
Okay, yeah, maybe have that to, like, a set, point instead of the automatic might work better. Because I think it's trying to adjust it right at the beginning, which is why you're cutting out, maybe? That might be it?
I guess, let me try to raise it higher.
Well, no, you would want to lower it then, at that point.
Okay, how am I doing?
So far, good. We can really
Say
tell...
more things.
We can really tell when you begin another line, kind of deal, so...
Alright.
Iris, are they?
The notes about the case? That's right. Susie and I compiled them together.
Okay, so far so good.
The case of the haunted lodgings. Do you want to read them, Bruno?
Okay, I think we're good now.
Yay.
Yay! Absolutely. Thank you, Iris. Oh, there's a new track. I have no idea what...
No, it's not a new track. It is not a new track.
Oh, no, wait, okay.
Now.
Okay, I remember this track now.
To
Okay.
be fair, it only played around the beginning of the game of the first one.
Yeah.
It played twice in the first game.
I have no idea what secrets could still be hiding in the shadows of this case. But perhaps if I read over the notes again, something might come to light.
That's the spirit.
You will respect this track.
And so, Iris and I decided to read over the case notes again. Everything of what happened to our investigation and the fierce battle in the court that followed, reliving every detail. I just need to find a clue, and I have all the time in the world. Because of course, I'm no longer allowed to practice law in the courts of Great Britain.
I'm on probation.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I may have pulled some. I may have pulled
Unintentionally was part of a crime, you know.
Yeah.
It was 6 months ago, a mysterious incident unfolded in the wintry streets of London. A young woman was found lying in the snowy pavement on Briar Road with a knife in her back. Fortunately, her life was spared. She was unconscious for several days following the incident. The fog is thick and nobody saw the attacker, but... Well, I mean, the Fey clan has nothing involved with this at all. Like, so I don't think it would make sense to bring in the channeling or anything like that. Plus, also keeps them separated, so, you know. By a cruel twist of fate, a visiting Japanese student was walking behind her at the time and dully arrested. That man was Saseki-san, and the man who effected his arrest was Mr. Sholmes. Believing in our compatriot's innocence, Susato-san and I decided to represent Saseki-san in court. And after a grueling trial of many twists and turns, we managed to prove his innocence. Was the man's reaction after the trial, but his jubilation was short-lived.
Dang.
He received a telegram from Mr. Sholmes the following morning. The victim of the Briar Road standing has regained consciousness.
Standing. The Briar Road standing.
Hurry to the barns at once.
Galileo.
What crime was committed on this street? This woman was sent to the hospital. How? What happened to her? She was standing.
So Sada and I summoned a handsome and headed immediately to the hospital. Okay, that's a good wording on that.
Old English. Alright.
Oh shit! A rat!
Rats. Yeah.
Yo, Master Splinter! There you are at last! I've been looking for you, Master Splinter!
I see you learned in your ways well, Mr. Sholmes.
Teach me the ways of the ninjas, Master.
That line with that face.
That would be something you would say.
Good morning, Mr. Sholmes.
I think not.
Oh? I'm pink again.
You're late! What on earth took you so long?
Your telegram only arrived at 5 o'clock, Mr. Sholmes. And it's a 25-minute ride to the hospital.
That's right, and 5:30 now. I think we've made very good time.
The time is utterly irrelevant. The fact is, I've been waiting for what I felt like an eternity. I have been standing here since the last game.
I've been standing here for a whole year until you came back to London.
I had to shut down all my other bodily functions just to survive. Do you know how hard it is to turn off your
I've had to
webcam?
eat that entire rat's family, and he's next.
Oh no!
I have single-handedly diminished the rat population in London.
That's impressive.
In a point of fact, I myself wasn't woken up for this morning by a telegram boy. I feel like it was somewhat unjust that I alone had been roused at such an hour. I sent one to you.
Well, thanks for that.
So if I had to wake up early in the morning, then so do you. Anyway, you're here now. So, the victim is over there. She only just regained consciousness.
She found.
Well, wow, she thick.
Every time.
You should, excuse me. You should introduce yourselves. I shall observe from here.
That
I like
lady
this
over there was
chair.
found on the snow-covered pavement with the knife in her back.
Her name is... Ah, yes, here we are. Miss Green.
Oh my god, guys, come on!
Hey, at least,
That's not- Pat,
At least
that's not even the worst translation.
Oh, no.
Translated name.
Good morning.
Huh?
Hello, I am Ryunosuke Naruhodo from the Empire of Japan.
Oh no, was it your knife? Are you the man who...
No, I'm a lawyer.
And I'm Susato Mikotoba. Pleased to meet you. Oh no, was it your knife then? Are you the one? Oh, no, I assure you. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant. We heard you regained conscious and wanted to come and give you your best wishes. Best wishes for me? Thank you. I'm Olive Green. I'm an artist.
Ooh, yeah,
at least
that's an Ace Attorney name, all right.
Yeah, but at least this one actually sounds like an actual name.
Yeah.
I know the original translation, it was Viridian Green.
Okay, it's more, I'm just thinking of Mr. Green from Clue. It's like why I'm rolling my eyes kind of deal a little bit. Because that's what I'm thinking of immediately.
I'm thinking of Dairy Cream for Sonic.exe Part 2.
Considering this is a detective game, I wouldn't, probably.
Well, no, that's not right, is it? What I mean is, I'm trying to be an artist. Well, what I really mean is, I just really want to be an artist.
Oh no, this is gonna... Alright,
But the
I'm still
truth
working on
is-
my commissions page. It's still working.
Shut up, Jason! Oh my god!
Don't become Ritsuzatazu, bitch.
yeah.
But the truth is, I don't have any talent. I know I don't. It's no wonder I was stabbed in the
Oh
back.
my god. I don't think that's related, actually.
Gosh, this young woman seems to be bent over backwards to put herself down.
Oh no, she uses only one layer!
She operates on the background layer.
No!
Fools, back in the 18th century, there was no layers.
Seeing as we're here, we should probably ask about what happened from her perspective, I suppose. Suddenly be struck in the back by a blade as you were walking along the pavement. What a terrible experience you had, Miss Green.
It was so cold that day, and the fog was so thick, I couldn't see a thing. was 4 days ago now, I think. Is that right? Yes, that's right. I'm afraid you've been comatose for all that time. The case has been solved, hasn't it? I've been in the hospital.
Indeed it has, my dear madame. Spectacularly, but none other than I, Herlock Sholmes.
Mr. Sholmes, as you well know, it's Mr. Naruhodo's hard-working court that solved this case.
I've missed your sassy sprite. Are you yet to hear what happened, Miss Green?
Yes, I'm afraid so. A gentleman from the police force is supposed to be coming to fill me in shortly. Oh, I see. Nikai routes seem to make everyone frantically busy. I'm so sorry. I should have never regained consciousness. It was selfish of me.
Oh boy.
Oh no, we're all so relieved that you're amended, Miss Green. Really, we are.
Please, someone
Now go
didn't
draw
die in
your
Ace
receipt.
Attorney case like that. Do you know how lucky you are?
Now go, Olivia. Go and make a Twitter account, but you only post.
With that attitude, maybe her
Good.
surname should be Blue, not Green. So, you're an artist, are you, Miss Green?
Oh no, I could have possibly claimed that. I'm a fledgling artist at best. I mean, I'm a student of the arts, really. At the Thordite Academy of the Fine Arts. Oh my, an Academy of Fine Arts. Great Britain is such a wonderful country.
Tell me, Miss Green, do you live hereabouts?
Oh no, actually. I don't deserve it, but I have a little flat on Bricken Road.
I see. How very interesting.
Oh no, is it?
Brexit is some 10 shops away for the other graph from here. At Thorndyke Academy, it's a mere 3-minute walk from Brexit town center.
Does that matter, Mr. Sholmes?
Perhaps not. A Briar Road is a far less salubrious part of the town by comparison. Donated by those of inferior means, including them. Hey, he's not Maleficent. including the Maleficent, that man. I have a picture of him
Inferior
right here.
means, I suppose Soseki-san does fit the bill.
He poor. It struck me as somewhat out of the ordinary for a young fine art student to be walking in such a district. That's all.
What's this? She suddenly clammed up.
Mr. Sholmes, you shouldn't be ashamed of yourself. Prying into a young maiden's private affairs.
Oh dear me! Do forgive me. I just made a guess.
If you don't mind. I'm being discharged, certainly, so I need to pack up my things.
Oh, yes, of course. We won't keep you. Thank you so
Wait,
much,
take it-
Miss Green.
Are you taking the rat with you?
Let's look at this room.
Eep! Mr. Splinter Naruhodo! It's an enormous mouse!
Vermin in a hospital? That doesn't seem the best.
And it looks like a very healthy specimen, doesn't it? It's very plump.
I'm not sure we could say that's down to the excellency of this facility, if that's what you're thinking.
Yo, I'm a rat. I eat.
Oh shit! Look, there's a photograph in this frame here.
Look at this photograph. Every time I do it makes me laugh.
Oh yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
It's a picture of a young gentleman.
looks about the same age as Miss Green, I would say. Perhaps the young woman's special someone, do you think?
My, Mr. Naruhodo. I didn't know you had such a sense in the matters of the heart.
Not in the least. I certainly said the first thing I thought of.
Is that Mr. No Fodder here? Mr. No Fodder!
Also, I like the anatomy model that she has as well over there.
It's plump.
In our folder now? Well, if you're looking for Naruhodo the lawyer, that's me, but...
Ah, Mr. Naruhodo, good. This is for you. It's a message from Mr. Saucy Nutmeg.
Mr. Natsume sent a message to me?
But why would a policeman be delivering a message for Mr. Natsume?
Don't ask the question you don't want
What's
answers
going
to.
on? What's Scotland Yard Constable doing playing delivery boy at a time of this morning?
What are you waiting for? Let me see that.
Oh!
Well, this is most unexpected.
Is something wrong, Mr. Sholmes?
Yeah, your face. Something wrong, Mr. Schultz, he says. Have you not seen this note?
No? How could I?
It would seem that London's criminals have no intentions of letting the great detective rest. A new case calls. A case of murder, no less. We must depart at once.
Murder?
Call a cab. Time is of the essence.
But the trouble is, we've yet to read Mr. Natsume's note. I was thinking we ought to pay him a visit to his lodgings once we did.
That would be entirely convenient.
Convenient? What do you mean?
It's all here in the note, my dear fellows. The murder, we must investigate, took place at Mr. Mustache's lodgings.
Wait, what?
A Halifaris at once.
Can we stick to one type of cab, please?
It was only yesterday that Saseki-san was in court and we were dispelled doubts of his innocence. And now, the very next day, there's a murder at the man's own address? He may very well be the unluckiest man alive. Or it seemed to us at the time, but we were soon to discover it was way worse than we thought. Ow!
Well,
What on earth?
Oh my, the gentleman is deceased without question. He's dead.
Look who's student Mr. Navahodo Esquire!
Mr. Natsume?
Oh, why? Why is this happening? Why to me? I only just got out of court yesterday! I was finally home after 2 days of misery! And then I wake up the next day to this! No early bird should catch a worm like this! Warful worm without wiggle! I see you're in high spirits again this morning, Mr. Mustache. Not the terrible Herlock show! Shoo! Show yourself the door! I never invited you!
Mr. Sholmes came here with us. I'm quite sure he'll be able to help you, Mr. Natsume.
I am entirely at your disposal, Mr. Mustache. What can I do for you?
Oh, all the Jason characters showing up.
Here they are, already, the busybodies. Ah, Inspector Gregson, what a pleasant surprise. Pleasant, is it? Gives me heartburn every time I see your face at a crime scene, Sean. Ha! I deduce, Inspector, that your heartburn is a result of your excessive consumption of fried food.
He ain't wrong. Good morning, Inspector.
This is a crime scene. Don't you go touching anything.
Or good morning to you too, Sunshine.
Look at Sasaki! He's just looking at it. He's like, man.
yeah, you know what? Same.
Just Photoshop. Can you Photoshop him out and just make another man meme out of it, please?
Man.
Man.
I walk alone.
I walk a lonely road.
What's the song that plays with Spider-Man walking and everything?
Oh, that's the Unravel from Tokyo Ghoul. Okay.
Yeah, can you play that? Oi! I said hands off! You're gonna mess up my crime scene!
Oh, no, I just wanted to look, that's all.
No chance! I know your kind! You're messing up just by looking at it! Am I dead?
Someone's in a bad mood.
There's certainly some bad air in here, isn't there?
Alright, sounds like I'll be better to talk to the inspector first and try to curry some flavor. I was expecting Schultz to say, get it? Because there's no windows. We're suffocating in here.
We're gonna die.
So, Inspector, what was the victim's name? Who was he? Oh!
Mr. Williams Shakespeare. He was
Really?
a lodger here.
Really?
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 That his name was fucking Vitensi. It was right there.
Do you know what game you're playing, miss? This is Ace Attorney, translated into English. His name was never going to survive. As you
English!
not English enough! As you can probably tell, he was an actor. A bit of a dead loss as it happens.
Mr. Shakespeare.
It was a landlord, old Mr. Garadeb, and the other lodger, Mr. Natsume, who found him. And don't ask why their names are kept. The fella didn't rise at the usual hour, so Garadeb got worried and kicked down the door.
I think it's because they're apparently actual Shom characters.
Yeah. Well, also, Natsume is also a real person, so, you know, what kind of deals if they got that on there, too.
I get it. They're actually important.
I just find it weird that every original Sherlock character gets to keep their name except Sherlock and Watson.
Oh, sorry, I thought that was, yeah. But doesn't Mr. Garba have a bad leg?
Yeah, you're right there. It was that generous Japanese hunchback over there who actually did the kicking.
Really? Saseki-san?
The victim was pretty hard up, it seems. Even does some time aside for petty theft. He had no money, no place to go, and no friends. His only acquaintances were the people in this house. Miserable life and a miserable end to it.
So, what exactly is Mr. Natsume doing here? He's not involved with the investigation, so shouldn't you have sent him away from the crime scene?
Well, I don't say that because the fella looks odd or anything, or that he's actually, or they're suspicious. But I thought it would be prudent to take a statement from the cohabitant.
You nearly said culprit there, didn't you?
Oh dear.
Shut
Mr.
up.
Natsume appears to have been under suspicion again.
It certainly seems that way. He just comes off as such an odd fellow, doesn't he?
Poor man. How unfortunate.
Man.
Man.
Anyway, I can't say much until the coroner gets here. But I don't think the fella's been a goner that long. The body's still warm.
Even if the inspector would allow it, I don't think I could bring myself to touch a dead body. Okay, Dr. Natsume. What a terrible thing to have happened.
It's only been 3 days since I was arrested for this pavement outside. And then, having finally regained my freedom, it starts happening all over again. Endless existence of excruciating experiences.
So the victim here lived on the ground floor, and your room is 1 story up, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. In a way, We were neighbors, I suppose.
So did you know the victim? Were you friends? Just keeps looking back at the dead body.
Still there.
Oh dear.
There's somebody dead behind me.
What's the matter, Sasaki-san now? It was an innocent enough question, wasn't it? Why does he seem so shaken up by it?
Well, I suppose he wasn't a complete stranger, but did he ever invite me to his room? Never! On my honor, I swear it!
What an extreme reaction.
The deadpan face.
You're probably wishing you never asked now, aren't you, Mr. Naruhodo?
When we found him here, I felt wretched, which is why I said word asking you to come.
Gregson in the back is just like that's rough, buddy. Like kind of deal.
You know, you could be having this conversation outside of my crime scene. You know, you all could just leave. You're not police. Seriously, while you're here, leave. Leave. You're still here. I noticed things saying leave isn't making you leave.
Oh, but we can't leave because look at this guy over here.
Leave. Oh, especially him. He should leave.
He's got an entire JoJo pose going throughout all of that, man.
So we have Man, that's rough, buddy, and JoJo.
Mr. Holmes, are you trying to summon your stand?
You need only observe to know it, my dear fellow. Investigating, naturally.
There's nothing natural about that pose.
Mr. Sholmes, have you made some miraculous discovery?
Patience, my dear madame. Patience. We've not been here in this room 5 minutes.
Yes,
Right,
I have. Lady
You're right, you've been here longer. Leave. Leave. So far, all I managed to deduce is what exactly happened.
My goodness!
Lying!
But is that everything we need to know, Mr. Sholmes?
No, he doesn't! Now that you propose the idea, I believe one could indeed see that way. No, you can't!
Oh boy, here we go.
At the present time, I have managed to draw two incontrollable conclusions. Oh boy. The first, there was a physical struggle here last night, even if it fought for his life. Really?
Ah!
Mr. Natsume, what's wrong? Is something Mr. Sholmes said significant somehow?
No, that might be. Forget I was here. I wish you weren't here.
I like the eyes with this pose now.
And my second conclusion is that there was a poison lingering in the air here last night that passed the victim's lips. Nonsense!
Ah!
Alright, Natsume, why are you reacting so extremely to Mr. Sholmes' deductions?
He's the culprit! No, please, pretend I'm not here! Invisible! Inaudible! Inscrutable! Insignificant!
Impossible to ignore.
You must tell us everything, Mr. Sholmes. Spare no details.
Please, no, don't get him started! But of course. Oh God. Let the theoretical tragedy before us be unraveled by my great deductions, put in it for your pleasure in 2 acts. Oh
We
God!
heard some truly astonishing great deductions from Mr. Sholmes in the past. No doubt this will be no exception. What more miracles will unfold before our eyes this time?
That's it, I'm leaving! Why is the door locked?
Oh, don't you know? We have to lock it in to keep everybody here. Oh, fucking hell.
So, my dear fellows, for your delight and wonder, let the curtains rise. For Herlock Sholmes, logic and reasoning spectacular, Act 1.
Alright, I do want to see if this got changed at all, because this was one of my complaints with the original game, so let's see if it's any different this time.
careful observation, the victim reveals to us the events that transpired in this desolate room last night. Foam as the mouth of the deceased clearly indicates the use of poison. Next, the victim. We notice a large dining plate which contains, you will observe, one half of a sizable bar of soap. Meaningful, indubitably. Why is this soap set so purposely upon the dish, like the victim's last supper, in fact? Yes. Could it be that the man was about to eat it? Of course, the fork reveals the answer. Look at that face! Like,
Do you
really?
fucking believe this shit you're hearing right now?
Are you serious?
Bruh, really?
Bruh, that's a real Brad moment. That is a real Brad moment. It appears that the young man's appetite was his undoing. Taking up arms in the forms of cutlery, the victim engaged in a deadly battle for his life.
Damn, this soap got hands.
Let's go.
Yet the struggle against his hunger was in vain, for in the end, he couldn't resist devouring the slippery feast. But London's foul soap is besmirched by foul poison. Yes, the victim's life was claimed by poison that tainted the contents of the plate. The soap and the lather about the young man's mouth are too perfectly matched to ignore. The cause of death was clearly intoxication due to excessive ingestion of foul soap. Though personally, I have a greater interest in the taste of foul candle wax, of course. Why do you have an interest in that?
Fucking soap.
Research, my dear fellow, research.
Why do you need to know that?
Oh, please, come on. Is this your first murder case?
Is it yours?
Hardly. If you can see from the Reds magazine, I have been on many different adventures. Hey, that's your paycheck. I hope you know that.
Just continue.
Very well, I will.
The cause of death identified. We proceed to Act 2, or we ponder the next question. Shot will definitely sniff
Yo, is that polyglue? Let me take a bite of it. No!
Definitely sniff.
I feel like that's going to be a joke in this playthrough. Anything even remotely edible, like Holmes has to try it out, kind of deal.
Was this suicide or murder? The audience will recall that death occurred during the victim's last supper. What audience? Did the man dine and die alone? The single teacup suggests the answer. To draw a conclusion on such meager evidence would be foolish, however.
Did you see that fucking wave dash back that he just did right there?
The careful criminal could have absconded with his own cup to cover his tracks. Well, allow me to lift the veil of doubt, my dear fellow. Indeed, what reveals the answer, of course, is the broken lock. Though forced open now, at the time of the incident, this door was locked. And the sole key was in the victim's pocket. In other words, when the victim consumed the poison, he must have been alone. Alone with his inferior soap, from which wafted an inferior scent. And with that, if that acrid aroma lingering in the air, the victim met his end in tragic solitude. We could take comfort only in the fact that his soul was well cleansed on its way to the hereafter.
but didn't get a rinse cycle.
Did you watch it for 30 seconds? This concludes the final act of Herlock Show's great deductions. Thank God!
It was so
I like the camera angles and stuff like that. They get produced more so far.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah, that's the biggest improvement of like a
lot better storyboarding and stuff like that
Yeah.
for them, I would say.
Yeah, they had a lot more fun with this.
Believe this?
There's just one thing, Mr. Sholmes.
Oh, one thing. You are disposed to identify just one thing, aren't you, Mr. Naohana? Pray, what concerns you?
Well, no matter how hungry he was, do you really think the man would have eaten soap?
Yes.
I caught that. It is quite apparent that this man had barely a penny to his name. It is a curious thing, but to one so destitute, soap can suddenly appear quite irresistibly appetizing.
How extraordinary.
Susato? No. No.
In truth, I have tried a little soap myself in the past. Why are you surprised? My dear fellow, it was some time ago now. My postulation was that it would cleanse my gut.
And did it?
As I writhed in agony on the floor and spilt the contents of my stomach, yes, I believe it did. The experience taught me a valuable lesson. Soap is quite poisonous. And yet he lived. It has an unpleasant taste and leads to great discomfort. In summary, I cannot recommend it.
Believe me, I wouldn't even if you did.
0 stars on Yelp.
There's something that troubles me as well, actually.
And it's not the soap, ironically. Oh, what is it?
It's Mr. Natsume.
Ah!
I couldn't help noticing him shuddering and quivering now in the corner of my eye. Almost as if Mr. Shobe's seduction touched a nerve of him somehow.
Nonsense!
Well, that clutch chief episode didn't last.
Can
Can I DoorDash soap?
DoorDash soap? You know what? Wait, hang on. Let me just open up my phone. Hang on. Let's see here.
Hey, give me back my book!
We're gonna go. Let's see here. Okay, got it. Alright, I'm gonna type. Alright, I know we can get groceries on here now. Let's see here. Safe way. Okay, let's see here. It's loading. It's loading. Alright, let's see what we can get here.
You get soap.
I can get soap on DoorDash! I can DoorDash soap!
Okay, give me
can
that back,
DoorDash.
please.
You have lost
My
your you have lost your Google privileges. Get it back.
Mine. I think, judging by Mr. Natsume's reaction, the great detective's deduction may need some gentle correction in order to reach the actual truth.
Yes, Mr. Shome's observation and deductions are sometimes a little too sharp. He has a tendency to hit the nail on the side of the head and drive it into the obtuse angle.
Are we seriously going through this again?
He's smelling his hands. They have very great fragrance on them. When he does that, it falls on us to straighten things out.
Dude, need some soap.
Oh, whoa! Can we go back to that? Like, Susanna look into the right there? Like,
Herlock
Like,
Sholmes.
it's like, I was like, oh, Herlock Sholmes. Oh.
yeah, and Susanna, you know he literally eats soap. You know this, right? Do you want that in a man?
I can fix him.
I can eat soap. I can eat soap.
Susanna, coming to England was a mistake. We should go back right now.
Yo, Susano, can we go back? Can we move forward 4 months?
Alright, then let's see
You'll
what
be
we
in a
can
better
do.
place, I swear.
Yes, we must pick out the keyword in Mr. Shome's quite brilliant deductions. and discreetly exchange them for something that makes a little more sense.
If we can do that. Oh, sorry.
Oh, shit.
I'm sure we'll arrive to what Mr. Sholmes meant to say in the first place.
We are not helping him. In that case, are you ready for the second performance of the day? No!
Encore.
Once again, my dear fellows, for your continued delight and wonder, let the curtain rise. For Herlock Sholmes, logic and reasoning spectacular. Act 1. Are we? No! No!
Just give me a hot minute here. Okay, I'll go to correct him. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. So you know.
At least you're fast forwarding it. That's still a great one.
Well, I can't deny the fork implies that the man was eating something or about to eat something.
Yes, that's true. If I were to decide to eat some soap, I should prefer to use a fork instead of attempting some chopsticks.
And of course, only half of the bar of soap is left on the plate.
But might there be not some other explanation? Something material that proves whether or not the man really ate some soap. Did he
Are you
actually
doing
eat the
this?
soap?
Are you guys doing this again, by the way?
Okay.
Are you guys just
Okay.
actually reenacting it?
I can only move left or right on this one, so.
Look around, look around.
Now, lucky we ought to be alive right now.
Lucky we ought to be alive right now. Except him.
Do you think he was drinking tea with his soap?
The cup's empty, so there's no way of knowing.
What about this for an idea? Perhaps the cup was full of water, and he was dissolving soap in it so he could gulp as much down as possible.
Please remember that he might actually have not been a soap lover that he's made out to be.
Fuck.
Look around.
I suppose you eat soap with a fork, would you?
I don't think it's a question which you implement you use. You shouldn't eat soap, full stop.
But then why? Why does he have a fork in his hand?
I must know!
Oh dear, I understand your frustration, Mr. Naruto. Please, don't take it out on me. The point is, if we decide the man used this fork to eat the soap, we wouldn't be changing Mr. Sholmes' deductions. So really ought to consider some other clues.
What about on the floor?
Look, there's some soap on the floor here. Mr. Shakespeare must really love that stuff.
Let's not jump to conclusions, Mr. Naruto. Look closely at the soap. Do you see that it would fit together perfectly with the half bar on the table?
What the? How can that be?
I think that they are two halves of the same bar that broke apart.
Take that!
Kaboom!
Whoa!
Still makes me happy, whatever.
Could it be
Look
that
at him.
Could it be that the man was about to eat it? Of course. The other piece of soap reveals the answer. It being the other half of the soap on the table, in
Being
short.
the other half, excuse me!
sorry.
Excuse me, Mr. Riono. Excuse me, Naruto. It is my turn. He says, show!
That's Naruto to the floor.
Rionosuke. It being the other half of the soap on the table. In short, the victim was not eating soap at all. But it's obvious, really. For no depth of hunger could drive any man to attempt to eat soap. Look at that! Look at that! Hold on. It's like, are you serious? Bruh, do you not remember our conversation? Like a minute ago. You ate, bruh. Are you for real? Bruh. Do you hear yourself talk sometimes?
The other thing, you know that meme of like the girl like looking at the buff dude's like chest kind of deal? Like this is like the reverse of that kind of deal going on. Like the other angle.
Even I, with my unquenchable thirst for practical knowledge, took only a single bite.
But it begs a question on if the man was poisoned because there's no sign of any food on the table.
Excellent observation, Mr. Naruhodo. And one that furnishes us with the answer we seek.
Right, the streamer left that one mod.
For London's foul soap is over.
Yeah,
Did you
this is,
skip my dialogue? Oh.
Here's your lunch, Mr. Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes is still pushing the soap argument then.
Perhaps he suggested the man lick the soap rather than ate it?
If soap's London's poisonous, I don't think I want to be washing my hands with it. There are no signs of the food on the table at all.
Of course, food isn't the only thing that passed people's lips, is it?
Oh, God! Hold on, I didn't realize I have to do dialogue. Okay.
Yeah.
Of course, food isn't, wait. Yes, a Western vessel for serving infusions of dried tea leaves.
It's a teacup, Mr. Naruhodo, as you well know. Stop putting on airs. And it's empty.
Ah, so we've already established that the victim wasn't eating soap when he died. However, there's a significant evidence that suggests he was drinking tea.
My thoughts exactly.
Okay.
You can't look at it.
But what was he doing instead of eating soap?
Would have to be drinking.
Take that!
Yeah. It's just a little weird because I'm used to having it like all the way around kind of deal, so. Yes, the victim's life was claimed by the poison that tainted the teacup.
Indeed, cups have been the vessel of choice for practicing poisons over the centuries. And it would appear that his victims drank every last drop.
No. Oh my god, this one actually is the format! This one actually is the format!
And got him.
Let it all out. Just let it all out.
Suzuki makes it! I really hope Shows comes in and fills it. I really
There's
hope
no-
it's
There's no sign of food anywhere in the room. We're gonna be here for a while, guys.
He just comes in like, I'm here too. Hey, don't forget about me. You bring that camera over here. Which leads us to the beautiful conclusion. You bring that over here. The cause of death was clearly intoxication due to the ingestion of poison contained in this teacup. Tag yourself and your friends in this image.
He could just come in and just say these nuts and Jason would laugh.
It has happened.
Okay, blah, 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 blah.
The suicide or murder. Let's go.
Ah, the Western vessel for infused hot drinks again. It's already featured heavily in our discussion so far.
Yes, we can imagine that surely before his death, Mr. Shamps here was having a drink of tea. There would be nothing remarkable about that, but what troubles me
Is Mr.
Mr.
Natsume's... It's Mr. Natsume's reaction when he heard Mr. Shum suggest it. More to this deduction than it seems.
he must coldly examine the scene of the crime again for some more clues.
Alright, Oh! It's another Western vessel for infused...
It's a teacup!
I see our arguments are further going on from ladder, step ladder, shovel, now it's...
I don't even think this was an argument. I think it's literally Susanoo just say, call it a teacup. Stop trying to call it.
Please stop saying dumbass things, Naruhodo, please.
Mr. Naruhodo, I understand that you're an English major, but calm down.
You're not speaking Japanese.
Bruh, it's just a teacup!
And it too is empty.
Given that he's actually holding this one in his hand.
We can assume that this is the teacup from which Mr. Shampiri was actually drinking.
But if that's the case, this changes everything. Everything we deduced up to now is turned on its head. I have a bad feeling about this. I almost don't want to say it.
Yes, I know exactly how you feel.
Take that!
Kapow.
Did the man dine and die alone? The other teacup suggests the answer. Yes, there were 2 teacups in this room all along. In other words, this strong indication that the victim's last supper, there was a guest
Why you gotta use
present.
his model?
Yeah, why you gotta use like the one person for KC?
At the very least, we could now say with certainty that somebody else was here in this room last night, taking tea with the victim. What are you talking about? Utterly, unbelievably, unjustly, unreasonable. To draw a conclusion on such meager evidence would be foolish, however. He's right behind me, isn't he?
Oh, we're getting some good material tonight.
In which case, what can we deduce about this possible guest at the table? Guys, that Twitter hashtag, I better see some good stuff after this one.
If I don't turn around, he's not there. Oh God, he's still there! Oh, no, he's
No, it's just like I can still hear him. Gay, homosexual, gay.
Well, allow me to lift the veil of doubts, my dear fellow.
I'm screen capping these and putting them in the chat. It's free to use, guys. If you go to Discord, WiiDude 83.
Yeah, go join the Discord. Do you mean to say you know exactly what was in this room at the time of the victim's death?
Indeed. What the VOCS, sir, of course, it's the broken lock.
I'm not sure I like where this deduction is going now.
I'm afraid it's too late back to...
Give me a second.
What is that word?
I'm afraid it's too back to...
You got soap in your mouth, Susanna?
Wait, hang on, hang on, we can solve this issue. Wait, let me go.
I blame the motherfucking teacup, Maru.
A-L.
Okay.
C-Y-O-N. Let's see.
I think Halicali?
Hey, Colin.
Halcyon.
Halcyon.
Okay.
Huh, okay.
I'm afraid it's too bad. I'm afraid it's too...
It's not even to the word yet.
Okay.
I'm afraid it's too late to go back to the halcyon days of eating too much stuff.
Yay!
This is a good stream.
But the identity of this guest who was in here last night when the victim passed away is something I have a very bad feeling about.
Well, you can't try to ignore your feelings. We can't ignore the truth, Mr. Naruhodo!
Why do I get sudden flashbacks of a V3 right now? Oh, I suppose not. Time to look around again. Learn about truth, lies, and all that bullshit. Okay, so I guess first examine the door.
Wait, Sophie, where are you posting the screenshots?
In the Discord for the WDGS2 part of the Discord.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. I was looking at the wrong one.
Okay.
I was looking.
In our Discord?
No, I was looking at DGS2, not.
Oh, okay.
WDGS2.
Oh dear, the latch is most definitely broken, isn't it? The door was kicked in by Mr. Nasume according to Mr. Garadev, told by the inspector.
Who knew that short, thin little legs had so much strength in them?
I'm not sure the length of his legs in any way was significant here.
Perhaps it says more about the poor state of the door than Mr. Natsume's strength, actually.
Careful. If you ever heard that remark, you almost most certainly have a lively response.
I don't know. Can this broken lock really tell us anything about who is in here?
Ooh, a bottle.
At first glance, it seems like the only things in this room are makeshift stage and costumes. I overlooked these books initially.
I wonder what they are. Let's see. The title reads... The Picture of the Monstrous Likoi, Caperton Yearnings, and... A Meal for the Garibrad.
Wait, I'm sure I've heard those titles before.
It could just be an incredible coincidence, but... They're the exact 3 books Mr. Natsume purchased the other day.
Just in case you didn't remember.
Yes, on the day of that unfortunate incident when Miss Green was stabbed. Sexton had just been in a bookshop and bought them, that's right!
And now those 3 titles are here in this room's victim. The room of this victim.
Yet Mr. Natsume claims to have never been here before. What does this mean? Do you think...
I really don't know what to make of it.
Wait. I'll do that one, but first the bottle.
It's empty.
Empty of liquid, but full of air! That makes you think, doesn't it?
It makes me think that you're full of hot air. We should be thinking about what else is in the room at the time.
Bother. I thought the response was clever than my original riddle. I want that for that Twitter of like the I guess, like, oh, but it's full of air. It's like,
I guess.
I guess.
I mean, I suppose.
Like Jason, the one I remember seeing earlier was just like, all lamps in video games technically require electricity to run them. And it was just like, I guess!
I guess.
Indeed, what reveals the answer, of course, is this pile of familiar books!
Quite so. It's no mere coincidence that these 3 titles are here in this room. It's a link to the truth. Exposed!
Mr. Natsume, you purchased these books 4 days ago at a secondhand bookshop.
That's just coincidence. In that case, you'll be able to bring the same 3 titles for your own room, will you not? This very moment. No, never, non-negotiable.
If you can't bring your own copies here, it proves that these 3 books are in fact yours.
Why do you have the spin?
Having purchased these books 4 days ago and returned to your lodgings, you were arrested the very next day. These fucking poses, I swear to God. So you could conceivably have brought these books here that evening, but you never mentioned that.
In other words, you could only have brought these 3 books here to the victor's room.
God, it really is just JoJo poses.
He's smooth, right? Yes, man, was smooth. Last night, having returned to your lodging after the trial concluded at the Old Bailey, he was smoothing. In short, there is only one possible conclusion. The victim died here in his room last night as a result of poisoning.
And the same night, the victim had a visitor.
And that visitor...
That shit-eating face. Was you, Mr. Soseki Natsume?
This concludes the final act of Herlock Show's Great Deduction.
Okay, yeah, I gotta say, these are a lot better than the first games already so far.
I can tell they were having fun.
Yeah.
They're a lot more theatrical. My favorite one, I think my favorite one is in case 3.
Well, it's just also,
I know.
it's that, I like this one because it makes it, because one of my problems with the first one was that, Sherlock was just, like, way off the mark completely kind of deal. This one does a better job of, like, he's close, but not quite there, sort of deal. So.
Am I Super Saiyan yet? Not again. Not again. Not again. Not again. Well, I can't. You're done. You're done. Okay. Well then, Mr. Natsume, what are you buying? It would appear you're gonna have to accompany me down to the yard again. But wait! Hold your horses! Yes. Door, key, locked, entry, exit, entirely impossible.
He's so flustered, he's even being stranger than normal.
What? You think that's an alibi? You could have just made a copy. What? You live in the same building after all. You'd have plenty of opportunity, I'm sure. Misery me! Sorry, sir. You'll have to get you'll get your chance to give your side of the story later. The facts speak for themselves, Mr. Mustache. You horrible Sherlock Holmes!
He really has found himself an arch rival now, has he?
Come on now, no dilly-dally it. Outside, there's a carriage waiting.
You want this fish? Want it? Nope. Just swings it back.
Listen, getting caught makes you hungry, I know. Look who's still in, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire! I never imagined I'd be in this position again, but... You have to help me! Please! Please! I'm innocent!
Alright, I understand. We'll come to your cell later and talk about it.
And one more thing!
Oh, yes?
My poor little kitty cat. Please give him his breakfast for me!
And so, his evil curse apparently unbroken, Soseki-san found himself once again as the prime suspect in the case of murder. Thanks to the incriminating deduction of the great detective. Jason's away right now.
Wait, hang on. My dear fellow, that honor belongs to you!
Aha.
Well, at least that means Inspector Gregson is no longer here. We can examine the crime scene in more detail now.
Yes, that's right. And of course.
What?
Have you ever forgotten about what the inspector mentioned before? It was the landlord, Mr. Dick.
Garadeb.
I need to do warm-ups next time.
It was the landlord, Mr. Garadev, who discovered Mr. Shamspear.
Mr. John Zaregreb, right.
I expect we can find him in his sitting room on the top floor as usual.
Right, we must remember to go talk to him later then. First off, I remember these hats.
Yes.
What now?
Aw.
There's not much in these shelves, is there? Just flying glass and bottles. And both of them are cracked.
Yes, not much use, are they? What's the matter?
Oh, I was just reminded of the Reaper, that's all.
Prosecutor Lord Von Zeeks? What?
Were you just about to say what I think you were just about to say?
Wait. What? What?
Never mind.
What?
Yes, he's so reckless with his wine glasses. I was thinking it's a waste I should donate some to the needy.
What did you guys hear? I don't know. Suggest it to me next time we meet. Ah. Okay, I think chat's confused on what you caught as well. Hold on, what was it?
No, just your pronunciation of Lord Antiques was almost ended up pronouncing as something else, if you know what I mean.
Load Vantiques or
Long.
okay.
What's this?
Looks like an envelope, I think.
Yes, I think you may be right. Perhaps it was torn off when the letter was open. God damn it.
Is that significant?
Well, it's just a little out of place, perhaps. When you look around the room, there's no sign of a letter or the rest of the envelope in the fact, is there?
Ah, she's right.
And yet, here we are with the torn-off end of an envelope. It just strikes me as unusual.
I agree. We better take this just in case.
Yay, free trash.
Woo! Look at these extravagant, bright costumes. Somehow they look out of place in this room with its grim, shady going-ons.
This one looks like a king's attire.
A king? I've always dreamt of being a king.
Oh, I think you'd be more suited to a feudal lord. A dapshimo or such like?
With a kimono got top, every Japanese man wishes he had a kimono.
Oh, you look wonderful with one. And you already have the sword.
Can you imagine what would happen if I walked around the streets of London with a kimono and a sword? The window again.
As we see from the outside, the window is completely bricked up. The vestiges of the former widow's tax from Britain I had to pay.
What strange things they tax in Great Britain? I mean, making people pay for the number of windows they have on their property is extraordinary.
It's heartbreaking to think the poor having to block up their windows just to avoid an unaffordable tax. Oh?
What is it, Mrs. Sato?
If you look closely, a number of bricks are loose.
Soap! Yes, looks like an amateur has broken out of here a few times. Was it Mr. Shakespeare, did I wonder? Better be the lock you entered the room.
Ah! Look at this, Mr. Naruhodo! On the outside, there's a little edge. And there's something on it.
What? Outside?
It's so cold outside. You can feel it through the scab.
It did snow all of last night. It would be cold. More importantly, what's this on the ledge out here? What are those snow-covered lumps?
It's... soap!
Soap? What are bars of soap doing lined up on the edge of an outside window?
I have no idea. But the pair of them do look rather charming like that.
Still, very strange, isn't it? Bars of soap lined up outside the window? I think perhaps we should take one. There are two, after all.
Oh dear, I suppose we could. Oh, what's this? Look here at the soap.
Ah!
Do you see in the middle there? There's a patch that's a different color. It's sort of transparent, but
Some sort of fancy design, I suppose. Only in Great Britain.
it looks like the Hiromara flag of Japan, doesn't it? How wonderful! It's probably a very expensive brand.
Expensive? Then what's it doing on the ramshackle old room?
Soap.
Soap! And here we have another disproportionately large machine. This looks like a meter of some kind.
Ah, this is a gas meter, I think. It seems that this district residents pay for gas that they use with coins.
Ah, I see. Yes, now that you pointed it out, I can see there's a slot just there that looks like it would take a coin. So you mean if you put a coin in here,
That's right. That would buy you about 2 hours of gas for light and heating.
So, if you were a poor person with no money, you would have to sleep in the freezing cold?
Yes, or if you were a scatterbrain with no change because you forgot to exchange your money at the bank.
Thank goodness there's no meter in our office.
Man, London was bad.
Why do some of you guys say you want to live in this time period? I don't understand any of you guys. London fucking sucked. This is a gaslight wall, isn't it? Connected to the gas pipe in the wall.
Gas lights, a gas stove. London really is a city of gas.
But now that I think about it, Mr. and Mrs. Garadeb had an open fire at the top floor, didn't they?
Oh yes, you're right. I don't recall seeing a gas stove up there.
Well, I prefer a real fire anyway. It's much cozier.
Oh, the poor man. So young to die. Do you suppose it was a very painful death? Being poisoned as he was?
I don't know. All we can do now is hope that we'll be able to reborn to a better life.
Yes, I suppose you're right. I wonder. Do you think we're putting our hands together in a Japanese prayer will help a British soul?
Sorry?
I made sure I had a reference for ready as such for the occasion of this, actually. This book's entitled The Beginner's Guide to Praying for the Departed, the British Way. I'll just reread it now. One moment.
There's quite a spine on that book, isn't there? No wait, okay, that.
We must do the prayer circle now.
We're doing it now! Okay, there we go.
Ah, one of the teacups Mr. Shakespeare and his guest drank from last night. But don't go drinking from them, Mr. Naruhodo. There's bitter poison inside.
I'm not planning on drinking any, don't worry. Anyway, the cups are both empty.
That's true, so one was Mr. Shakespeare's, and the other must have been the cup that Mr. Nasui was drinking from.
But Soseki-san wasn't poisoned, of course. Perhaps we take these to examine them for detail later. Alright, there we go. Looks like you're having a good snoop around, eh? Oh, okay. Huh? Inspector Gregson, back so soon?
Knock, knock.
Okay, I don't think you see it, so I'll do it.
My bad!
Oh, okay.
My bad.
Just in time.
Just in time, oh my gosh.
I very quickly like, I think I have time to use the bathroom real quick. I come back, I see Gretchen, wait! Alright, hang on.
I gotta get into character.
After I threw that little Japanese fellow in the thing, I went and reported this to the investigation division. In 5 minutes' time, this place will be
Quartered.
cordoned off by the yard.
You see?
I see. Well,
To your
we better
left,
be
Mr.
leaving.
Mustache. To your right, no mustache. Poor Mr. Natsume. He must be feeling very low of being back in his cell again so soon.
I'm sure. We should probably go and...
What's wrong, Mr. Naruhodo?
Out, brief candle! Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player. The struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. Now, how soundeth the next part? It's a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Indeed! Oh, happy day!
What the fuck? Walking Dead! fuck just happened?
He rises up only to fall again. The fella isn't dead at all?
What in the
What's
world
this
was...
nonsense he's saying, though? Oh, right.
yeah. What was that nonsense he was saying, though?
Hold on. I think, yes, it was from William Shakespeare's Macbeth.
I was waiting for her to pull out. I believe you were referencing the AMC's Walking Dead.
A soliloquy from Act 5, Scene 5.
Shakespeare.
Ah.
Oh. So it was. That victim, Mr. William Shakespeare, came back to life. The man had indeed been poisoned. It transpired that hadn't killed him. He was taken to the emergency carriage to a nearby hospital for treatment. And Inspector Gregson evicted us from the scene of the crime. Whatever that was now.
Well, I guess it wasn't murder.
So, attempted murder we're doing the trial for at this point?
Whatever do you think will happen now?
Good question. What a strange situation for Mr. Natsume. Arrested for murder and then the victim comes back to life.
I think perhaps the victim was never dead in the first place. It seems very likely that Mr. Shakespeare did consume poison, as we deduced. It was an accident, attempted suicide, or attempted murder. Until the truth can be established, I imagine the police will keep Mr. Natsume in custody.
I suppose so. Let's hope it doesn't come to anything more than a night in the cells. Oh, what's this? What's that man doing over there? Looks like he's trying to see into Seki-san's lodgings.
Is something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo?
Excuse me, could we have a word?
No.
I'll take this guy. Ah!
Oi.
I guess not.
He just ran off.
Boy.
I feel sure I've seen that man somewhere before. Where was it?
This could be questionable if you even got that scene in DGS one. I do too, but I don't remember.
You can actually, that scene is actually very easy to miss.
Yeah, that's what I'd say. Like, it could be like, a new location a lot. Oh yeah.
We probably yeah.
Yeah, Gareth.
So hi there.
How are you doing?
I see you still have the bird carpet.
Here we go again, the eccentric landlord's eccentric top floor abode.
We're here because Mr. Garrett's the one who discovered the incident this morning. Don't forget.
You chaps, eh? Yes, good morning. Thank you for your cooperation in court yesterday. It was quite a trial. As much for Garabev as anyone, really. Came straight back here after the business at the Bailey yesterday. Didn't expect to wake up to more Bailey nonsense this morning.
I wonder if you wouldn't mind telling us exactly what happened, Mr. Yaradov.
Yes, I suppose you would like to know more than dead loss of an actor chap at the ground floor room. Those were exactly Inspector Gregson's words, weren't they? Oh my god, character development, he states up!
But I'm still standing better than I ever did.
Must have been a real shock for you this morning. I hear you discovered what had happened? Ah, well, hopeless after chap rises at 5 o'clock sharp every morning without fail. But at 30 minutes this morning, he still hadn't lit his gas. So I went down and knocked on his door, but no bally answer.
And that's when you broke into his room by kicking down the door?
Well, I called that rum old Japanese chap to the grunt work, of course. Wasn't that a little premature to kick the door down? The man could have just overslept by half an hour.
That's very true, Mr. Naruhodo. Your 3 minutes of oversleeping bore such behavior. I had to kick down the door every morning.
Well, you know, better be safe than sorry and all that. Is it just me, or is he avoiding our gaze now all of a sudden?
Except that it was a sorry situation indeed that you found that on the far side of the door.
The victim's name was Mr. Shakespeare, I believe. Is that right? Yes, William Shakespeare. Took the ground floor room 3 months ago now.
And how would you describe him?
In a word, destitute.
Destitute?
Well, let's face it, the only redeeming feature of that room is the cheap rent. Anyone wanting to live in a place like that is either broke or has a Bailey screw loose. It's so hard to choose which category Saseki-san will fall into.
Mr. Naruhodo, that's a little rude.
That was my internal thoughts!
You were whispering.
He was doing research as well. Research into what? Shakespeare, of course, Shakespeare! Read a few plays of the old bard myself, you know, Romeo and Hamlet, all of that.
Yes, William Shakespeare is the English's most highly regarded classical playwright and author. He knows as Sao in Japanese, as you know, and many of his works have already been translated.
Seems incredible that Shakespeare was shortened to Sao, though. Someone was too heavy-handed there. There was a lot of costumes in the victims' rooms, actually, weren't there?
Of course, Mr. Nasumi is a scholar of the English literature as well. I imagine he and Mr. Shakespeare would have much in common.
Shakespeare's interpretation of disagreement leads to shocking murder. Let's hope it's not to that.
Mr. Naruhodo? Really? How rude.
How are you reading my blue text now, Susato?
You need to stop whispering
Shut up!
What are you whispering about? Get out of here, Sholmes!
How does Mr. Garrett think about
What the hell are you two doing?
Get a room.
One of my rooms, perhaps. Please, we need the money. Like, really bad. We're gonna shut down at this rate.
Seriously, have you considered moving in? Have you found a place to stay yet?
After Mr. Natsume's trial yesterday, you came straight back here, I believe, didn't you? Did you notice anything strange between then and this morning? Well, now, must have been about 6 in the evening by the time I got home. Snow was coming down rather heavily, as I remember, and it was completely dark already. Our failed Dr. Cha-up was out at the time. Mr. Garrett noticed that there was no light in his room or something, I suppose. Couldn't summon the energy for anything much, so I just sat in the front of the fire up there. It was about 8 before Shakespeare came back. And the chap was up until 1 in the morning, I'll have you know. Suppose he met his end some other time after that. I was asleep by then, so I'm rather in the dark there. Well, thank you. That was very illuminating. Is everything alright, Mrs. Sato?
Well, I was just thinking it's a little strange, that's all. Mr. Garadev, you're up here in your room all evening, if I understood correctly.
Not a big fan of stairs, not with the blasted leg.
Then, how is it that you seem to know? The precise movements of your tenants on the ground floor, I mean.
What? That's a very good point. Can't imagine you would hear the noises from the ground floor all the way up here. Does this old man like to spy on his tenants? Is that it? I don't know what you're thinking. It's fairly outraged. I'm ex-military, don't you know? I don't go around spying on my tenants. Why would I?
Then how did you know, Mr. Garadev?
It's the gas woman. The gas tells me everything. The gas?
Speaking gas?
Speaking gas. What on earth do you mean, sir? How can the gas tell you everything, let alone everything? Well, as you're probably aware, the gas is supplied by the buildings by pipes. Yes, I've more or less worked that out.
Every room in the building is connected by a single pipe of gas main outside. And the gas company supplies gas to property via the main.
Yes, I understand that too. Let me see if I can explain. Let's say I was to light the gas lamps up here. What do you suppose would happen? Well, obviously the room would get brighter. Exactly, but at the same time, the lights in all the other rooms of the house would dim for a moment. What? They dim? Why?
Perhaps it's because when you light a gas lamp, it previously used more gas than usual. And that reduced the amount of gas in the pipes for the other lamps that are connected to it. That might explain why the other lamps dim momentarily, mightn't it?
Yes, of course, because everything's connected through a single supply pipe.
Is that supposed to happen, though? It sounds rather undesirable.
Surely good point. Fact is, the gas company's pipes in these parts are pretty hopeless and long worn out. And barely got any gas in any of them to start with. Opposite is also true, of course. Extinguish the lamps up here and they glow brighter than the rest of the house. Right, I see. So by watching the flickering lamps in one room, you can determine what's happening elsewhere. You've got it.
Oh, of course, because when people come back home in the evening before they go to sleep at night, what they are guaranteed to do is either light or put out their lamps on and fires.
In point of that fact, the room on the ground floor and the one above use slightly different amounts of gas. By watching the lights in here closely, I can work out almost exactly who's going in and out of the whole house.
Gosh, that's fascinating, Mr. Gyarados. Absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, well, nothing to it, really. I can't really see how that's gonna help us in our case either. What I'd like to know is why Mr. Gyarados is so interested in what his tenants are up to in the first place. I feel like there's more to this idle curiosity. Well, we've done as much investigating here as we can, I think. Perhaps we ought to go to the prison and speak with Mr. Natsume again.
A good idea.
Alright, let's move!
Yeah, it's already awkward as it is.
Okay, prison, there we go.
To the prison!
To the prison!
Man.
Bad boy.
Bad
boy. Bad boy jail.
Look, Mr. Naruhodo.
Susato, come closer to me. I feel like you might not want to be by that bar.
I want to listen to the man, Susato. You don't want to be near what I'm about. You don't want to be near me.
Mr. Natsume, have the police finished questioning you now?
I don't know. Have they?
Look, student, Mr. Navahodo Esquire!
Oh, yes?
What is he? Tell me, is he a ghost? Is he here to haunt me?
Let me guess. You're talking about Mr. Sholmes.
He actually calls himself the Great Detective, Mr. Natsume, not a ghost.
But his diabolical deductions! I'm not of this world! They've left me. Curse! I'm cursed, I tell you!
Oh, that sort of hurts.
Credit to where credit is due, Mr. Naruhodo. You were heavily involved in his deduction, too.
Yes. Moving on. We have some wonderful news.
Oh?
The victim that we all thought was dead, he has come back to life again.
Now, in absolutely worst case, you'd be tried for attempted murder. That's great, isn't it, Mr. Natsume?
It's terrible!
Uh-oh.
I'm stuck in the cell, suffering with some silly wrong end of the stick! You did it, didn't you? Confess, you're a killer! Why the mustache? Constant questions!
I'm so sorry to hear that.
That selfish shyster! Make Make up your mind! Are you dead or alive? If you were to come back to life, why bother dying? Wickedly, wishy-washy William!
Well, it seems likely that James Spear was never actually dead in the first place.
Yes, that might make sense. And I'm pleased that he's alive, of course. Our lively debate last night was much fun. It'd be sad to think it was our last.
Oh?
Oops.
Mr. Natsume, does this mean that you did see the victim last night? You met up with Mr. James Spear, didn't you?
I can say another word. I don't want to have a lawyer present.
Who do you think I am? Please, Mr. Natsume, we need to hear your side of the story.
Ugh, why am I cursed like this?
What happened?
What happened? Can you tell us exactly what happened last night then, Mr. Natsume?
There's nothing to tell. But, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, I am eternally grateful to you for helping me with that cursed case yesterday.
The case saw poor Miss Green hospitalized after she ended up with a knife in her back.
It's hard to believe that it was only yesterday.
After the trial was over, I trudged my worrying way back to my lowly lodgings. And that evening, at past 9, it must have been, I visited Mr. Shakespeare.
So you did go to the victim's room then?
As we feared.
I didn't do anything wrong! I didn't do anything wrong! I never been to his room before! It was the first time!
Then what made you decide to go?
I bumped into him when I arrived back at the house. We got chatting, and it developed into a discussion. We had to go out, and I bade him farewell.
That ties off what Mr. Garib said. That was the victim went out and came back after 8.
We met again later that evening, at around 9 or just after, when I took him some nice tea, and I brewed as a gift.
So it was you who brought the tea that had clearly been drunk at the scene then?
And I suppose you were discussing the works of Shakespeare, were you?
Yes, that's right. That's exactly right. Romeo and Juliet, who was the stronger? It was a delightful debate.
I see you guys were already having death battle debates back in ye old England, alright?
I want to hear this debate so bad. I want to hear that conversation.
I'm sure.
Such a stimulating subject, say Shakespeare.
And
I really want to hear both sides of the argument. I really want to hear.
There's a lot of energy going on in this screenshot right here. And the debate came very heated, so you slipped poison into Mr. Shakespeare's tea?
No! Never! Not at all! Team Juliet won! That was me! And when I left his room, the flamboyant fellow was fighting fit! I swear it! Categorically!
Cursed existence.
Mr. Natsume, you often say the same thing about yourself, I noticed. That you have a cursed existence?
Oh, excuse me. I'm sure I've mentioned this to you before, but I've been here at Great Britain for a year now, and at that time, I learned that it's no place for me.
It's very tragic.
Even when he's sad, his eye still twitches.
It never stops.
Look at it.
It never stops.
It can be very trying to live in a foreign land and adapt to its ways of another culture.
There are foreigners everywhere I look, and they all stare at me. They all laugh. That's the impression I get whenever I go out. It makes me scared to leave my room. Which is why I've become a recluse. But even in my room, I find no respite for my fears. I've moved more times than I can remember. And then, 1 week ago, I moved into Briar Road.
But why? I mean, why did you choose that place? It doesn't seem very comfortable.
Because the rent is cheap. I have so little money, it spoke to me.
The rent?
Obviously, there's a reason why it's cheap. Because the room is cursed.
Cursed? Cursed how?
The previous occupant, the man who lived there before I took the room, died there.
Oh no!
He was only a young man, but one morning he was found dead, and no one could explain why.
Surely no one wants to live in a room with a history like that.
I didn't. When the letting agent recommended the place, I wavered. But I want books, and books cost money. A horrible history price to pay.
College struggles.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah. That's why I don't buy my books until the class absolutely needs them. Kinda nail.
Or buy them used on Amazon.
I just wait till we actually need them because, like, half of the time we don't even use the book at all, so, you know.
As someone that never went to college, how much did they cost?
They can range anywhere from, like, 100 to, like, 300 for a book or stuff like that, so...
Yo.
That's why... Yeah, that's why I don't get them unless I absolutely need it.
Sometimes I just stick to the lectures and internet sources.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
When I realized it would mean I could buy more books, I signed the lease like lightning.
Brave or blinkered?
But after I moved in, I still came to realize what I'd done. I realized how horrible that room's history really was.
Gosh, was it really so awful?
Oh.
How did the room's horrible history affected you, Mr. Natsume? What happened?
At first, it was just a feeling. The feeling of beady-eyed boring into my back, watching me.
Do you think that might have just been your mind playing tricks on you?
No. My mind doesn't know any tricks. It was someone else. It's been one long nightmare ever since I was given the keys to that place.
A nightmare? You've been having bad dreams, you mean?
All the souls who died in that room lean over me in my sleep and try to strangle me.
That really is horrible.
And now I come to think of it, it happened again last night too. The very same night that Mr. Shakespeare was writhing in agony for the poison in his body. I was on the verge of being suffocated silently by those miserable spirits in my room.
You simply must move out of that room as soon as possible.
Yes, you're right. I know it, and that's why. I'm already searching for the next room with a history to call home.
I think perhaps you should try to avoid accommodations with any kind of history at all. Otherwise, I'm scared that you yourself may become history.
Just I don't know how to make a man listen.
Boy?
Just her hands on the hips again.
Of course. Mr. Lord of the Manor is worried about the curse on my room as well.
You mean Mr. Garrett?
Yes, he knows that if people keep dying there, he'll never be able to rent it out again.
Oh, that's true. I, for one, wouldn't go near that place.
Ah, perhaps that explains why the landlord pays so much attention to the gas lamps and his tenants' movements.
You mean because he's worried about their well-being? He does seem to have unusual keen interest in the amount of gas in the pipes. There must be a reason why he keeps close tabs on his occupants that left his rooms.
What do you mean he pays so much attention to the gas lamps?
Oh, dear no, it's nothing to do with you, Mr. Nasumi. Please, forget anything I said.
Oh, now you're talking about me behind my back as well.
What's important is that Mr. Shakespeare isn't in fact dead at all. Once he comes around, he'll be able to tell us what happened. We'll be able to get you released.
Yes, please. Oh, I do hope you're right.
Excuse me. Oh, okay.
Excuse me.
Inspector Gregson!
I couldn't help overhearing what you just said. And on that note, I have some good news and some bad news. Oh. Wait. Which you want to hear first? Always, every time, the bad news comes first. When hope is all you have, hold on to it. That's my guiding principle. Right, well, in that case, the good news it is. Huh? Sorry, but it's just a lot easier to explain everything that way.
Why'd you give him a choice? Yeah, exactly.
Why'd you ask me my preference? As you might have heard, the victim, Mr. Shakespeare, was just unconscious. He's come round now.
Yes, we saw that happen in all terrifying glory.
He's still being treated by the doctors, but we managed to get a written statement from him already.
Oh, isn't that wonderful, Mr. Natsume?
Oh, thank goodness. It's all over then. I can leave this somber cell. Sorry, no. That's not on the cards. What?
However, not, Inspector.
Mr. Shakespeare has implicated someone as being responsible for what happened last night.
Implicated someone?
Oh dear.
You don't mean... I'm sorry to say I do, yes. He pointed the finger at you, Mr. Natsume. Ugh! By sweet poison did he seek to end my life. That wicked
Wickedest. Kate?
Oh, sorry.
Catalyst?
The wickedest caitiff, Suzeki Natsume.
No!
So I'm afraid you'll be appearing in court as planned. You'll be wanted to make the necessary preparations. No!
Oh.
Man, he hurts my voice.
So, once again, Seki-san found himself on having to take the docket at the Old Bailey. Whether his room was haunted or whether he was just terribly unlucky, I knew I had no choice. The following day, I would represent him in court and do the utmost to break the curse that lightened him.
Ba-da-ba.
To be continued. There we go.
There we go.
Alright, so that is where we will end things today.
Interesting setup.
Yeah, this one's interesting so far. I do like this one, so. Alright. Oh, we're going into trial already. Okay. Alright, well, that will be tomorrow night at our usual time, 7 p.m. So, yeah. I'm interested to see where this one goes, and I guess for Van Zeeks, I'll take over for him since you're doing Judge Jason. I guess we'll do that, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, anyway, have a good night, guys!